Many people say this isn't a real sport, but it doesn't have to be. Even the best in the world have proven to fall against the ones that can master one punch 1,000 times. These are the cream of the crop in a not-so-familiar world that sees thousands of new faces every single hour. These scientists of speed who only push themselves further in such an unfathomable environment because they felt like it. This is the mad dance of a hyper-focused mind trained to feel force through only their senses of sight and their sense of flow. A flow strong enough to know when a mistake has been made before it's even happened. Not to mention the superhuman instincts needed to tell their fingers when to pull the trigger. This is the culmination of eons of training, the final test of reactions and wits, and the endless rampage to be the one who stands tallest on a pedestal with no physical form. These are the Kings of Kings. This is Formula Apex. And welcome back to the second race of the Apex King of Kings. Now, just to give you a bit of a refresher on what happened in the last race, it was JZ5002 who was the driver to beat with a win by almost an entire minute, although he reflected at the end of the race that he definitely could have picked a slower car, so for this race, and likely for the races going forward, he's made the decision to switch to the 2022 Alpine. Whether this is going to be too steep of a hill to climb for him, considering the next race is filled with 2021 cars, we'll just have to wait and see. On top of that, Catalan is also the closest driver to Jay-Z, thanks to them bringing themselves into second place using the 2007 car. However, for this race, they decided to shift it up to the 2021 car just to try and be a little more safe. Whether that works out for them, we'll just have to wait and see. And on top of that, because this is, of course, the second race for a league and not the first one, there are going to be a lot of new faces once the race begins, so keep an eye out for them. Will Jay-Z keep his lead in the Drivers' Championship? Will Catalan be able to cut themselves ahead? Let's find out today, here in Hermanos Rodriguez. It's and Catalan jumps the start! Wait, Catalan jumped the start! Oh my god! Catalan jumped the start! I don't believe it! Hold on. Wait. Hold on a second, no, that means Catalan is a lap down! Does it? I'm not sure. Okay, but wait, look at this action at the front. Bug QTT1, a completely new face, has been cutting through the field and is now having a really good battle with Mr. Boomsteak and Real Immortals, but the real eyes are currently on Jay-Z, as he's made the decision to switch to a midfield 2022 car. looking at the points gain, that's going to get him 6 bonus points for driving a car that's very similar in its DNA to everyone else. So, a very wise decision from him. Okay, I don't think that affected Adeline, actually. Oh, but Adeline has a little bit of a spin! They are slipping down the order! Okay, back to normal. It's been an incredible start for BugQ, IGZ, and Mr. Boomsteak, all of them being completely new faces, but like I said, all eyes are on the current championship leader, JZ500, because his current battle is with RBR Catalan, and Catalan has been having a terrible time all the way down in 9th. And not just that, they're using the 2021 car, so they're not going to get any bonus points at all. And now they're actually in the back of a massive battle between Super Saiyan, Cool Gamer Kid, and Alan Walker, who have all elected to use the 2003 car, causing for a little miniature battle between these three in sort of their own bubble. Ethan Gaming are starting to slip further behind, and even though they have a bit of compensation because they showed up in the first race, it's not necessarily going to be the most reassuring thing. Jay-Z is actually still keeping up with the front runners in that 2022. These are going to be insane points for him if he can pull this off. And on top of that, he's even beating one of the 2021s. Currently, it's been an insane run for Jay-Z, and considering the better tire preservation, he may end up taking the entire race. But of course, we'll just have to wait and see. DRS is definitely assisting him on these longer straights. RVR Catalan has cut past the 2003 cars, but of course, Catalan does still have a lot of places to make in 5th place, because they will not only lose out on their chance to lead the Drivers' Championship at this rate, but they'll lose out on it by a landslide. And it's BugQTT who's still leading, but he makes a bit of a mistake, and that potentially leaves the door for Jay-Z to get at the position. But the clunkiness of the car is starting to weigh them down, as currently the top 4 are still within half a second of each other. This is a scrap for so many potential points, and the safety car gets lapped for the first time. Call me crazy, but I don't think it was a wise decision to bring it out on this race. But I'm glad we got to see it. And now, as let's take a little bit of an appreciation for the people in the 1992 cars all the way in the back, because this is a prime example for when not to bring them out, because their points are going to be doubled, but it's going to be doubled for nothing, so they'll get no points from this. They need to pick a better time to bring out those cars. Jay-Z, if they can get just a little bit more speed, may potentially be able to take the lead of the race if they get a good bit of burst of speed here, but they don't get DRS. IGZ does instead, and that's currently helping them in their battle. Look at the variation in this battle. 2 2021s, a 2024, who I think just made a major mistake, and even a 2022, and I think Jay-Z have found their way ahead. Jay-Z cuts into the lead, and if they win this, they could get 29 points for this race. No, scratch that, 31! That is going to be huge for Jay-Z, considering the field he's put himself against. And again, they're still only separated by half a second. This is what a real duel is about. Flinging back through the rest of the field, Cool Gamer Kid has been starting to lose his ground a little bit in the duel with the 2020. Has been starting to lose his ground a bit in the duel with the 2003s, as he's starting to break away just that little bit more. And now, RVR Catalan in the 2021 car, after having that terrible launch where they almost jumped the line. Actually, wait, no, they did jump the line, but there were still questions on what that meant, until it turned out to not really mean anything, are still currently residing in 6th place, but they could get an overtake on Ethan Gaming sooner or later. We're now starting to see a bit of a gap form, as now 1 second is between 3rd place and the leader, but now the leader is proving to be... Wait, hold on! One of the drivers are out of this battle as BugQT cuts too many track limits and starts to fall behind. JZ500 somehow is fighting off the Mercedes 2021 of IGZ in a 2022 Alpine. This is incredible! Actually, let me check the wheels on that. Yeah, that's original. That's an original one. So that doesn't even have the buffed statistics of the remaster. That's incredible. But now, Mr. Boomsteak actually potentially has a chance to jump up the position ahead of Bug QTT, but it'll depend on if Bug makes... Sorry, accidentally swallowed a bit of my hair there. But it'll depend on if Bug QT makes any major mistakes. Hold on a minute. I think Jay-Z might have made a bit of a slip up there as well, because IGZ has now once again taken the lead, but presumably not for long, considering the resilience of Jay-Z here. These are going to be insane points for him in the championship if he can properly pull this off, because remember, last time he experimented by using the 2010 car, and it turned out that he was one of the front runners by a huge margin, so he thought, maybe I could pull out a 2022 car for the bonus points. And it seems to be working out pretty well for him, because now he's just in the right position to have a scrap for first place with all of these bonus points. Just watching. Alright, okay. Nice. So currently, again, if Jay-Z can pull this off, this is going to be huge. But slipping back in the order, RVR Catalan has made an incredible comeback, as after starting last, after a botched start with confusions from the starting line, they've now fought their way back into 4th place. However, with them not getting any bonus points from using the 2021 car, no matter what happens in this race, if Jay-Z sticks ahead, RVR Catalan will not be leading the Drivers' Championship. However, it will be close. Newcomers Boomsteak and IGZ have also been making quite the name for themselves as well, although I have a feeling that Boomsteak is probably somewhat regretting not bringing out a midfield car rather than a front runner, because they won't be getting any bonus points for using what's debatably a weaker car. And now, I think Boomsteak might have... No, IGZ made a major mistake. Did he cut a track limit? Let's have a look over here. Yeah, he did. He cut a track limit around this section, and now there's a 3-second gap between the lead and Jay-Z. Again, I can't believe that Jay-Z is holding off all of these in such a weaker car. They're not only going to be leading the championship after this, but they will absolutely be running away with it, as RVR Catalan, their closest competitor, are only going to score 12 points at the end of this race. This is insane! I thought there was going to be a bit of a split in the driver standings, but not this much. Oh yeah, and in other news, with some retirements that have happened, Ibrond, who's one of the drivers using the 1992 car, has broken into 10th place, which means they're going to score 2 points by the end of this, due to the points multiplier. Again, it would have been wiser if they just picked one of the other cars that gives guaranteed points, but again, it was a risk that they felt like taking. But also, I feel like I might as well bring this up. I've been looking at sort of some weather readings, and I feel like the track isn't going to stay bone dry forever, as some clouds are starting to form. I don't think it's enough to cause for some heavy rain, but maybe enough to cause a few slips. I'm not entirely sure. Honestly, it would be nice if a rain percentage was here in, like, the spectating thing. Maybe that could be added in a update in the future to make commentating easier. But now, Bug QT is starting to have a scrap with RVR Catalan. Because again, remember, Catalan had to cut all the way up to here just to try and have a chance at scoring some more points after such a major blunder at the start. Hell, you probably saw it at the beginning where I was completely gobsmacked and didn't even know what to talk about during that incredible start, so I just didn't say anything. Yeah, but with the DRS, I feel like Catalan probably has a chance in a few corners' time, and they're going to take that and run with it. There's some smoke coming from IGZ's tires as they somewhat lock up the wheels, but this is the point where the wheels for the 2021 cars are really going to start degrading. Boomsteak is once again the closest driver to Jay-Z, but Boomsteak isn't going to be getting any bonus points with the car he's using. Jay-Z is not only going to win, but they're going to win with 6 additional bonus points. And let me check the statistics for the fastest lap. Yeah, he's got the fastest lap as well. So that means not only is he going to get the 6 points for using the car, but he's also going to get 3 additional bonus points for getting the fastest lap. This is absurd. Is anyone going to be able to rip those bonus points away from him in the interest of the Drivers' Championship? Of course, we will just have to wait and see. Hold on a minute, there's someone dancing on the track. Did you see that? That guy's 6 skills in dancing caused for a bit of a slip from one of the 1992 cars. Wasn't that funny? But now, cutting back to some of the back markers, there's a battle between Cool Gamer Kid and Super Saiyan. In retrospect, this isn't going to cause for that much of a change in the Drivers' Championship, because whoever wins is going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 14 points, and whoever loses is still going to get 12 points. But a battle is a battle, and they've got to take it. After all, they're making the decision to play it safe to guarantee themselves some points. But now, hold on, I feel like Jay-Z might have cut some track limits because Jay-Z is starting to... Oh, and that's a major blunder from Mr. Boomsteak as they spin out after getting so close to Jay-Z. And with that, Jay-Z now not only leads, but lead by 7 seconds. If that right there isn't an insane result for the championship, I don't know what is. As Mr. Boomsteak still looks like a really solid driver, but I'm starting to question whether he can even make it into second. As remember, Catalan is still the closest driver in the driver's standings, and even though they're not going to get any bonus points, they are inching closer and closer as we reach the halfway mark. Look, there's the guy walking on the track. That's pretty funny. I love how the safety car is just kind of there as well. It adds so much to just this atmosphere in general, because I knew someone was going to go for the meme strategy. The battle with Super Saiyan and Cool Gamer is really heating up as Super Saiyan has gotten the position. Alan Walker is miles behind, so they won't be in the same general field as the other people who have picked those cars, but I feel like they mainly picked it just because they're a fan favorite. I feel like Cool Gamer Kid might be able to get the line to get a position on Super Saiyan, but we'll just have to wait and see. Oh, Cool Gamer slips a little bit, but Super Saiyan isn't seen anywhere. Oh, that's because that car was lagging a lot. Super Saiyan still has the position, and they're starting to pull away from Cool Gamer Kid. But on top of that, Cool Gamer Kid still has quite a lot of the race to try and win it back. There's now actually a battle between Bug QT, and Bug QT slips out! It's a major slip, and it's another major slip from Alan Walker! If that right there wasn't synchronized choking, then I don't know how you'd even define the term. And it was between 2 Ferraris as well. That is what I call symbolic. And with those mistakes, RVR Catalan bring themselves into 3rd place. Again, big for the driver's standings, and I feel like they're very much going to love hearing that as they near closer and closer to Mr. Boomsteak. But of course, considering how heavy the tire wear on the 2021 cars are, these drivers may be thinking about bringing it into the pits. I'm not sure how many of them are going to make an attempt to do it, though, considering how risky that seems. Jay-Z still has a very comfortable lead with about 8 seconds, but Catalan and the rest of the field are getting closer and closer to Boomsteak, where Boomsteak is the driver who should actually have the advantage, considering the better tire preservation on the modern cars. But again, flicking through the field, I don't think anyone... Okay, we've got someone who's deciding to go into the pit stop, and it's Ibron! Actually, wait, I think Ibron might be stuck. Okay, never mind, that was just a lag thing. Ibron, who has brought themselves all the way in the 10th, are going for a box, and to be fair, considering he doesn't have any challengers, he might as well do so just for the sake of his own race. It's not like he's gonna be able to catch up to anyone regardless, considering the car he's in. But yeah, oh, it's a flip! Mr. Boomsteak flips the car! I'm not entirely sure what caused that, considering I wasn't recording it, but that causes a huge shift up as now Catalan have brought themselves back into 2nd place. But considering there's a 14-second gap on Jay-Z, Jay-Z's gonna have to make a serious blunder to lose that. Where did it go wrong for Mr. Boomsteak? Now they're in 5th place and have decided to box for new tires. They could have been the ones who've gotten better off if they didn't make any boxes at all, but still, what a shift in the dynamic for that. But also remember, Jay-Z is still driving a very unstable car, and keeping that car stable, considering the wear of the tires, is going to be very, very tricky. Bug QT makes a bit of a twitchy curve trying to catch up to Catalan, as now this is where the proper battle stands, because if Bug QT can stand on top for this, they're going to get 18 points in their first race, which isn't necessarily within championship range, but there are still a lot of races to go in this. Oh, they're starting to tap a little bit of the structures for the road. That doesn't exactly seem like the safest choice to me. Flicking through the field again, Cool Gamer Kid is starting to really feel the effects of their tires now. Alan Walker Musical spins out once again, and Super Saiyan has now brought themselves into a very comfortable gap ahead of Cool Gamer Kid. This, I feel like, is going to be where the main battle is probably going to be from here on out, considering the gaps. Although there is still the battle between IGZ and Bug QT, who have both decided to box. I wonder who's going to be the one on the master their box movement best. Bug QT does slow down a little bit. Hold on, it's another flip for Mr. Boomsteak! Another flip, and Mr. Boomsteak despawns the car! Mr. Boomsteak is out of this race after such an incredible run, and that brings everyone up by just one more position who was underneath them. Oh, and Super Saiyan, they're slipping the car at the same point as Cool Gamer Kid. This is where the battle for them is really going to start heating up, as a lot of the drivers ahead are starting to falter a little bit with the additional wear of the cars. I just hope that Mr. Boomsteak is okay. Cool Gamer Kid spins it out, just as they were having a hope to try and catch up to Super Saiyan. It happens again, and Super Saiyan almost spins it out once more. This is why the 2003 cars are so dangerous to use, because if you can't control them when the wheels get really worn, then you're gonna have a real bad time with some spins. But now, look at the gaps. Jay-Z has a 16-second gap on Catalan, despite using a far slower car, and that's even and I don't even think that Catalan would be catching up if they had the better start, which really says it all. IGZ and Bug QT are currently in quite the scrap for the position they're in right now. That's probably going to be where the closest battle is. Then Ethan is just sort of coasting around as well. Super Saiyan seems like the driver who's going to make it to the end. Cool Gamer Kid have made the decision to box for new tires. That could be an inspired choice for them. And Alan Walker is just kind of vibing all the way down here. Typical. Okay, IGZ. Look at this visual. That right there summarizes this league perfectly. Catalan seems to be starting to slip up a little bit, but they, I think, are in a pretty comfortable spot right now. If I was Catalan, I would probably think about boxing just in case they make any major slip-ups and Bug QT starts to catch up, but I'm not the person in charge of their strategy. Even Gamang makes the decision to box as well. And remember, there is potentially going to be some light drizzle on the track, or it may have subsided. It's a bit difficult to tell from these particular cameras. Okay, the battle between Bug QT and IGZ seems to have ended with Bug QT being the driver on top, as now there's a 3-second gap between them, but of course, there are still 5 more laps to decide where they could potentially end up, given the results of the next race. So Catalan is in a safe spot, Jay-Z is in a safe spot, Bug, not quite as such. So at this point, like I said, most of the positions for the driver's standings are sealed. So now, let's cut to the real battle. IGZ, now with only a 2-second gap to Bug QT, they are having quite a scrap for the podium right now. Even though one of them didn't exactly get any DRS, actually IGZ did, and I don't even think there was anyone ahead of them. Actually, wait, no, they were the person catching up. I got the position mixed up, my bad. Is IGZ going to get some buggy DRS to try and catch up to Bug QT? Doesn't seem like it. They aren't opening their DRS flaps at all. This is going to be, I think it's more so going to be who can keep their head straight, because when your tires are as worn as these, that little gap you've got there is pretty much nothing. Hold on, both of the drivers have caught up. Cool Gamer Kid's decision to box for new tires could work out beautifully for them, as they're now starting to get past Super Saiyan, who are still on the old tires. That decision may have just potentially decided an entire spot, as if Super Saiyan wants to catch up, they're going to have to do it with some extremely worn tires. And I just don't see that happening. These things control like a boat when the tires don't want to cooperate, and not a boat in Brazil either. A boat in a, I don't know. You think of a punchline to this joke and send it to me in the mail. Okay, despite this, Super Saiyan have found their way ahead again. Actually, was Saiyan the one that boxed, or was it Cool Gamer Kid? No, wait, it was Gamer that boxed. So, yeah, very impressive from Super Saiyan. If they can keep themselves ahead of Cool Gamer for the rest of the race, I will be seriously impressed by them. And if they can, then it might be a toss-up between who gets my driver of the day vote. And there's a crash! Alan Walker Musical has broken one of the wheels of their car. I think that's the front right wheel, and their engine has completely cut out. That's more good news for Ibradan, who are now going to earn 8 points from this race, despite barely even being in it. And also Cena's is gonna get 3 points, considering he's using the safety car and is potentially going to bring himself up to 10. Well, actually is, considering the crash from Alan Walker. Okay, cutting back to the front, IGZ is still around 3 seconds behind Bug QT, but nothing has been decided thus far. So, like I said, it's mostly going to come down to who makes a blunder. So, Cool Gamer Kid, I feel like Super Saiyan probably... No, he's not made a blunder. He's still fighting back on tires that worn. Or did Super Saiyan box? If anyone's spectating and can tell me if Super Saiyan boxed or not, that'd be great. Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he boxed or not. Okay, IGZ has now brought down the gap enough to get DRS, and now a true fight for the podium is about to drum up. Everyone get ready for it and hold on to your seats. IGZ gets a better line, but it's a little bit shaky considering the elevation of the car. You could probably see it bouncing up and down a little bit like a horse. But of course, IGZ still very much focused on potentially getting the race win, and I just noticed something hilarious. The funniest part of this race, IGZ is using the Max Verstappen helmet in a Mercedes. That is hilarious. But yeah, IGZ still closing in on Bug QT, but a few mistakes brings that gap back to where it was before. And there's still not much time to decide where this podium battle is going to be put into place. But also, if we can give just a quick shout out to Catalan, they had that terrible start and yet clawed it all the way back. Hold on, I think Jay-Z might have made some sort of a mistake as Jay-Z is starting to fall back a lot. Hold on! IGZ, out of nowhere, wait no, Bug QT has gotten the fastest lap, which means Jay-Z will not get 9 bonus points and will only get 6. It was quite an incredible run from them as well, but they don't run off with the bonus points. Bug QT isn't going to end up getting anything, considering he's not in a car that earns bonus points, but still, it was an impressive points nick from him towards Jay-Z, who would have ran away with 9 points as opposed to 6 if he didn't do anything. But now, the gap has closed down to less than a second. Can IGZ keep their head straight and cut ahead of Bug QT? It's probably going to be close, and it's likely going to come down to one major mistake made by either of them. And also, Super Saiyan is still beating Cool Gamer Kid in that battle you see over there. Hold on, I think there might have been a blunder that I missed. Hopefully IGC was recording that perspective, because I think they might have cut a track limit. Yeah, IGC cuts a track limit. That gives them such a difficult time if they want to try and battle for a win in the penultimate laps. But also, Jay-Z, I don't think Jay-Z's boxed, and with those worn tires, he has to protect a 9-second gap from Catalan. Catalan isn't going to be leading the driver standings if they catch up to Jay-Z, but they're going to be very close as Bug QT is going all the way and is probably on the brink of overtake, and they cut a track limit. That would have been insane, though. If Bug QT clawed all of that back and overtook RVR Catalan, that would have been nuts. And it was probably the worst place you could possibly get a track limit to, was now IGZ could potentially get another overtake before the end of the race. It's a big distance, so it's not very likely, but it might end up happening. I love how Alan Walker is still there. Like, he just hasn't jumped. He's just been watching them from his destroyed cockpit. Oh, it's a bit of a slip-up from Catalan, but they're keeping themselves consistent. Bug QT has now caught up to Catalan again. Look at how short that gap has become. Could Bug QT make a jump for the positions ahead of RVR Catalan? This could be a big showcase of skill from them if they can. I think they may have got it. Yes, Bug QT. I think he lost it there, but they are trading positions over and over and over. Bug QT has the priority for the final lap of this race, as all the 2021 cars, well, yeah, I think that's all of them. Yeah, all the 2021 cars are bundled up so close together, and I have no clue who's going to come out on top. But rather impressively, Jay-Z was going for the fastest lap again, but he just barely missed out to Bug. Let's hope those free bonus points aren't going to change anything in the driver's standings. It's seeming like Bug QT is making quite the lunge away as they get DRS from one of the back markers and no one else does. Huge for them. So yeah, Bug QT definitely has the advantages now. IGZ looks like they can potentially take a full podium from Catalan, which spells disaster for them in the driver's standings. But while this intense battle is going on, there's someone else who's 14 seconds ahead in a far weaker car. This right here is what the league's all about, as not only is Jay-Z going to win, they're going to win with 6 additional bonus points, which puts them so much further ahead in the driver standings. So everyone give a round of applause as Jay-Z wins the Mexican Grand Prix in a 2022 midfield. I think RBR Catalan might have cut a track limit, so they're not even going to see the podium. But QT makes an incredible run in the final few laps and comes in second, and IGZ just about holds on and comes in third place. It's been an amazing showcase of skill from these drivers, but at the end of it all, the podium is filled with the newcomers. RVR Catalan comes in fourth without any bonus points to show for it, which is going to reflect really badly on their driver standings. Astute viewers will remember Jay-Z saying that he would have brought in a slower car to the first race had he known the competition. And seeing what he's done today, he absolutely meant business, as he not only won by another huge gap, but this time he did it with a car that earned him a whopping 6 bonus points while still winning the race. And it would have been 9 had he not had the fastest lap stolen from him by Bug QT. On the other end of the scale, RVR Catalan absolutely suffered in this round, considering not only did they have such an awful start, but they were only able to claw themselves back up to 4th, where now the gap between second and first is more than an entire race's worth, putting Jay-Z in a far more comfortable position to take the Drivers' Championship. Although one last thing to note is that both the faces of Bug QT and IGZ have both had an incredible start to this league, so they may start thinking about experimenting with cars at some point later down the line if they want to try and close down the gap just that little bit more.